Hi people, welcome back to my channel. So with Zini, my name is Ezini and I'm a fashion designer based in the eastern part of Nigeria. On here I make tutorials regarding fashion, DIY, pattern drafting, and on today's tutorial I'm going to tutoring how to make this free dress that has some see-through at the end part. So stay with me as we dive right into the video. So this is the Ankara fabric that I'll be using for this particular style. I really love the designs and patterns of this particular Ankara fabric, and we are going to be making use of 2 yards of this dress. So you can make use of 3 if you want yours to be longer or if you want it to be more big. Okay, but for this video I'll be making use of 2 yards of Ankara fabric. So I'll go ahead to fold it, then I'll start cutting. I folded this twice, making it 4 sides unfold. Now I'll be cutting the front and the back together. So I'll start first with ruling a line at the beginning of my fabric, which is going to show where my measurements is going to start from afterwards. So I'll go ahead and mark my neck width, which is 3.5 inches, and then I'll come down for my neck depth at 1 inches. Then I'll mark it and connect it to the 3.5 inches that I initially marked. Now after connecting it, I'll go ahead and mark out my shoulder, which is 8 inches. I'll go ahead and mark that. After marking that, on the spot that I marked my 8 inches, I'll measure out 10 inches and mark. Okay, so this is going to be the length of my sleeve. So this is usually the way we get the length for kimono, anything kimono. Okay, so now the next thing I'll do is to come down by 1 inch from the 8 inches shoulder measurement. I'll come down by 1 inch and then I'll connect it back to the 3.5 inches shoulder measurement that I initially marked. That's my neck width, sorry. So I'll connect it to my neck width. Now I'll have to extend the line down to the length of my sleeve. Okay, just as you see me doing in the video, I'll extend it with my ruler just like this. Okay, so it's not supposed to be straight since our shoulder is slanty and it's going all the way down. We'll just have to like extend it. So the next thing I'll do here is to mark my shoulder to my hip line, which is 28 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark this right through. Okay, so now after marking it, the next thing I'll do is I'll then impute my hip round measurement, which is 40 inches divided by 4. It will give you 10, and then that 10 I'm going to be adding additional 4 inches. Okay, so whatever your hip divided by 4 is, you're going to be adding additional 4 inches because this dress is supposed to be free. It's not supposed to be fitted. You're supposed to make it very, very free. Okay, so that is what I did here. I divided my hip by 4 and whatever I got, I added it with 4 inches. So I'm going to mark this same measurement that I got on my hip down to the length of the dress. Okay, so yes, that is what I just did. So now I'll connect the 2 lines together. Okay, so whatever it is that you got as your hip round plus 4 inches, you mark that same thing down to the length of your gown. So the next thing would be to measure out my sleeve round. My sleeve round is 11 inches. I'll go ahead and mark this, and then on that line that I marked my 11 inches, I'll come in by 3.5 inches. I'll mark this 3.5 inches and also connect it. Now the next thing I'll do is to just connect it down to my hip line. Okay, so this is the way I'll connect it. Just watch what I'm doing in the video. So yes, this is it. I've connected it, and that is just it for the for this dress. Now I'll go on to cut out the measurements that I've marked for this dress. So I'll just cut it and then we'll go ahead with the next step. The next step would be to mark out the measurement for the first joining of this style. Okay, as you can see on the picture illustration, so I go ahead and mark 29 inches, and then I'll mark this right round. Okay, but if you want yours to go higher, you can mark like 27 inches depending on how comfortable you are going to be when you wear it. And also, if the length of your fabric is very long, you can just manipulate or adjust the joinings however you want. But for this video, I'm going to be using 29 inches for my first joining. From that 29 inches, the next thing I'll mark is 3 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark this right round, and then I'll rule a line. Now after ruling the line, the next inches that I'm going to be marking from these 3 inches that I marked will be 2 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and mark 2 inches, and I'll also rule a line across. The next I'll be marking is 2.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark my 2.5 inches right round, and I'll also rule a line. After my 2.5 inches, the next I'll follow would be 1.5 inch. So I'll go ahead and mark this 1.5 inch right across. After that, also I would rule a line. The original picture I'm trying to recreate has 8 joinings because we are trying to recreate the same style, but ours is just going to have 6 because of the length of our fabric. Already our fabric is by 45, so it's not as lengthy as the fabric in the picture, so we'll just make do with 6 joinings. So now the last joining for this, I'll be marking 2 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark this out and also rule a line. Now the next thing I'll do is to label before I cut, and I'm labeling so it doesn't get confusing. So I'm going to be using W as white. So white represents the white fabric or the see-through fabric that I'm going to be using. I don't know the name. And then A represents Ankara. So that is how the label is going to be. A represents the Ankara and W represents the white or see-through fabric that I'm going to use. So wherever I mark W, just know that that is where I'm going to be adding the see-through fabric, and wherever I write A, just know that that is, I'm going to be retaining that space for the Ankara. Okay, so I hope you guys understand. Now that I've labeled it, I'll just go ahead and cut them right through. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and cut it piece by piece. That is it. I finished cutting it, so I'll go ahead and arrange them back to how they were before. Okay, so please don't throw away the pieces yet. You're going to use it as a guidance to where you put your see-through fabric. Next thing I'll do here is to just number them so that it really doesn't get confusing. Okay, so this is very important so that you're very sure of where you're putting which one. So I'll just go ahead and number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, W1, A2, W3, A4, W5, and A6. Okay, so after numbering them, I'll go ahead and get this little piece of fabric. This is not an organza fabric, by the way. It's thicker and more expensive than organza, so it has more quality than organza fabric. So I'll go ahead and place some of the patterns that I cut out, the one that will be having this fabric on it. So the W1, I'll go ahead and place them on it and then cut it out. Also, it is important to note that I'll be double folding this into 4 because it's going to be for the front and the back side. Here I've placed it and I've gone ahead to start cutting it. So if you notice, I'm cutting it on 1/2 inch that will be used to join it to the other pieces that I cut out. So this is the second piece. I'll go ahead and do the same thing. I'll cut it out and I'll do that as well for the last piece. Here I've successfully cut it out. So the next thing I'll do is to bring back the dress and then I'll start joining it back together. So I'll go ahead and unpin the first piece, which is the see-through. So I'll remove the Ankara that we used to cut it out because we wouldn't be needing that. So I'll go ahead and place it back. Then the second piece is the Ankara, and which is the A2. Then the W3, I'll remove the Ankara piece on it and keep back the see-through. So this is what I will do to the end. So I'll just go ahead and arrange this properly so that you guys can understand how we are going to go about sewing them or joining them together. This is it. This is how it looks. Okay, so remember this is the back. So the next thing I'll do is to start joining them piece by piece. I'll take the Ankara fabric and the see-through, I'll join. The see-through and the Ankara, I'll join. Okay, so I'll do this for both the front and the back as well. So guys, this is it. This is what it looks like. I have successfully joined them, as you can see. Okay, so I've joined them and this is what it looks like. So the next thing I'll do is to really iron them well so that it comes out looking all straightened out. Now the next thing I'll do is to show you how I arrived by my neckline and how to go about that. So first things first, we'll have to make use of a pattern paper. Draw out the design on a patterned paper and then cut it out on the fabric that I will be using. So here I begin to rule my line where my measurements will start from. The next thing would be to mark my neck width, which is 3.5 inches. After that, I'll go ahead and mark 14 inches from my shoulder line. This is where my design is going to stop. So I'll mark 14 inches right round and then I'll rule a line. So now from that 14 inches mark that I gave, I'll go up by 3 inches and then I'll mark it. I'll also do this right round and rule a line. Now from the point we marked our 3.5 inches neckline, I'll go ahead and mark 2.5 inches and then this I'll rule it down to the 3 inches that I marked. The next thing I'll do is from that place I marked that I brought down, I'll make a slanted line down to my 14 inches, down to the tip of my 14 inches. So yes, that is how our design is going to be. I did this and then I realized I didn't want my V line to be so short, and then I came up by 1 inch on that line. Okay, just as you see me doing in the video, I came up by 1 inch and then I slanted it back to that initial pointed 14 inches. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be cutting. So I'll go ahead and mark asterisks on the line to show you that I wouldn't be needing that part. So yes, this is how it's going to look like. So the next thing I'll do is to cut out this pattern. So I've cut it out, and the next thing I'll do is to remark my neckline so that it doesn't get confusing when I want to draw the design. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and remark them on where they are supposed to be. I'll mark it both on the inside and on the outside so that I get to see it clearly. So yeah, after that I'll go ahead and open it. Okay, so this is how it looks. So now from our neck width, we'll come down by 4 inches and mark. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is to draw the design of the neck piece. Okay, so now with my ruler I'll rule this down. Now on the other side as well, I'll come down by 7.5 inches. So remember that it's like the shape is like a slanted form. Okay, so I'll just make sure that I'm on the right track and it's giving me my initial measurements. So now after I've made sure of that, I'll go ahead with my ruler and I'll connect the lines together. So now the next thing I'll do is to slant the two lines, to connect the two lines together by slanting them. Okay, just as you see me doing. So I'll go ahead and slant them, and that is that for this design. Next thing I'll do is to just cut out the parts that we wouldn't be needing. Okay. So now this is the design that I'll be cutting out on the plain fabric, and this is the red plain fabric that I'll be using. You can use any small piece of fabric. Okay, So I'll open it up and then I'll place this design on top of it and then I'll begin to cut it out. So I'll go ahead and begin to pin. After pinning them up, I'll start cutting it. So I'm going to be cutting on 1/2 inch because this is what I'm going to use to join it to the main fabric. Okay. So I'll go ahead and unpin it and then this is what it looks like. So you guys, this is my front side of the fabric but on the wrong side, okay? So this is the front side or whatever but on the wrong side, okay? So the inside of the fabric, let me put it that way. So here I would place it on my neckline, okay? So just exactly how I'm placing it on the video, that is how I am going to place it. So we are going to be sewing this on the inside of the fabric, okay, on the wrong side. Then after sewing it, we'll go ahead and turn it, okay? So as I'm doing it, you're going to understand what I mean by that. So first of all, I'll use my pins and hold it so that they are going to be properly put. So I'll just hold them down with my pins so that they will stay at the place without shifting because I don't want to make any mistakes. So please, this pinning part is very important. As you can see, I'm taking my time to carefully pin them one after the other, okay? This is very important so that it doesn't even shift. Now after pinning this, I'll take this to my machine and then I'll sew it on the neckline just where you see my hands running through, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. This is it guys, I've sewn it and this is what it looks like. So now the next thing I'll do is to just cut it out, okay? So I'm going to cut out the excess. This part that I'm cutting out is where your neck is going to be sitting, okay? Your neck and your chest area. So I'll just carefully cut this part out. The next thing I'll do is to notch these areas so that when I get to turn them, it will be relaxed, okay? So you also have to be careful when you're notching so that you don't mistakenly cut through the lines that you have sewn. So this is it. After notching it, I'll go ahead and turn it. As you can see, I have turned it to the front side, okay, and this is what it looks like. So I'm just trying to adjust all the parts that seems rumpled, okay? So it will be very important for us to iron this properly as well to be able to help it come out straight. Remember the 1/2 inch that we left while cutting this red pattern. We are going to be folding it inside because that is where we are going to be sewing on, okay? So for me, I like to use pins first, so I'll just fold this in. As I'm folding it in, I'm pinning them, and after pinning them, I'll iron them before I sew it, okay? So that is what I'm going to be doing. I don't like to work without pins, so yes. So yes, I've ironed it and this is what it looks like. So now I can go ahead and sew it. So I'll advise that you iron it first before sewing it so that it will make it to be more relaxed. So now the next thing is the sleeve, okay? So we can decide to double fold, but I don't want to do that. So I'll just use another fabric, another little piece of fabric and face my sleeve, okay? So I'll just use that fabric to finish off the edges of the sleeve. So I'll place them facing each other and then I'll run a stitch across, okay? Then after that, I'll turn it and fold it in. I'll show you that when I'm done. So here it is. I've sewn together the design on the neckline. So as you can see, I've sewn it and the lines are so tiny, okay? is almost invisible. That is what you should aim to achieve. So in this way it comes out neater. So here I've sewn my sleeve. Okay, I've sewn my facing for my sleeve, and this is how I'm going to be closing it. Okay, so I'll turn it to the wrong side and then I'll fold it in, just as you see me doing in the video. Okay, so I'll have to turn this so that I explain to you very well in order for you to understand me. Okay, so this is it. I'll go ahead and fold it. When I fold it, I'll make sure that the main sleeve is coming in by at least half an inch. Okay, so I'll just bring it in by at least half an inch, and then I'll go over and fold the edge as well, just as you see me doing in the video. I'll go over and fold the edge and then I'll sew this. Okay, I'll just run a stitch across on that part that I folded, where you see my fingers running across. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be doing for the two parts of the sleeve, and when I'm done with it I'll come and show you. So yes, this is the sleeve. I've successfully sewn it together. I've closed it in and this is what it looks. Okay, so this is what I was trying to explain to you, and as you can see I've done that and it came out neatly. I also did it to the other side of the sleeve. Now this is the back of the dress. So now remember that whatever I do to the front, I do to the back as well. So I've also finished off the sleeve area of the back, and the next thing I'll do is to join the facing for the neckline of the back. So this is the small piece that I'm going to use to face the neckline, because our neckline can be bare and I don't want to use bias, but you can use bias anyways, but to me bias is not going to make it neat, so that is why I'm using this. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and finish this off just almost the same way we did for our sleeve round. Okay, we'll do the same thing here and I'll show you guys how it looks like. So this is it guys, I've successfully faced my back neckline and this is what it looks like. Okay, so I've done this neatly, and the next thing will be to join my two shoulders together, to join my front and back shoulders together. So I'm placing this on my right side. So now I'll bring the two right sides facing each other. Okay, the back and the front right sides, they are going to face each other together, and then I'll go ahead and join my shoulders. Okay, just as you see me doing in the video, this is how it's going to come out looking. So I'll go ahead, join my shoulders and show you guys the next step. So you guys, this is it. I've sewn my shoulders together and this is what it looks like. Now still on the back side, on the inside, I'll go ahead and join my two sides together, just the way you see my hands going. Okay, so I'll just go ahead, join my two sides together, and then I'll finish off the edges of the down part of the gown, and that will be all for this gown. Okay, so you guys, here it is. I finally finished off the dress and this is what it looks like. Okay, so the next would be me putting on this dress so that you guys can see the fitting and see how it looks on me. So you guys, this is the finished look and this is how it looks like on me. I really love the outcome of this dress. I really love how free it is. I really love the fact that I can wear it with anything. I can wear it with my sneakers, I can wear it with my heels and any type of hair that I want to rock it with. And I really love the outcome. So you guys, let me know how I did with this design. Do you love it? Is this something you're going to be recreating? If this is something you're going to be recreating, let me know. And if you enjoyed this video as well, let me know. Please, if you have watched up to this point, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, put on your notification bells, comment, and don't forget to share. Okay, thank you guys so much and see you in my next video. Bye.